Man, I tell you what, this gun is goofy, man. This is Tactical Bacon's, Mr. Tactical Bacon's rifle that we put together a while ago. I have not fired a gun with a rifle length buffer system in a long period of time, and that thing is like throwing all kinds of noise around in there. But that's actually not the subject of this video. What we're here looking at today is this Nikon Monarch 3. And this thing's kind of interesting. It's somewhat of a departure from a lot of the optics that we bring in here on a regular basis because it's more of a hunting style setup. It's got a lot clearer reticle picture. They are offered mostly in duplex reticles, although this one has their bullet drop compensation. The mount that it comes with, their M223, is specifically designed for applications on AR-15s. So they are kind of looking to put these kinds of scopes on these types of rifles. But the reticle picture is just a little bit different, and it's not your standard mil dot reticle. What's kind of interesting about this thing, it is a 3 to 12 power. So I'm shooting on max mag right now. This thing has the ability to go all the way up to 12 power. It's pretty crystal clear. I mean, it's comparable to Trijicon glass is what I would say. It's pretty nice, I do have to say. Windage and elevation adjustments are available under cap or not under cap. These ones are under cap, so you have to open up a cap to get to these ones. Like I said, they are offered without it. And you have the ability to adjust your windage and elevation and then pick up on the dial and move the dial back to 0. So that's pretty neat. That allows you to have a 0 set to see if you've got any deviation, and then you're able to make adjustments off of that. It does have a parallax adjustment function, or on the left side of the optic here, and what we do for that is you pull out on this device, and as you can see, the dial kind of all pops all the way out, and then you have the ability to adjust it to your desired parallax function. We are shooting at, and it goes from 50 all the way out to infinity here, whatever is appropriate for you. Today we are shooting, let me get my Pro Staff 7 out here. This is a rangefinder also by Nikon that has angular correction on it too. So this thing's pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy with this thing. This thing's gonna be used quite a bit. But our target is 38 yards even out there. We're shooting at a shootsteel.com, a close range rifle target, and this thing seems to be doing a pretty good job. I should probably dial it back off of max mag a little bit and see if we can't dial in a group here, because it's just getting a little bit fuzzy at this distance for that close range stuff. I've got her back down to 3. We're gonna do a little bit more shooting, and then we might go down range and take a look at the target. And I suppose the really good application for it would be any of your guys that kind of don't like a lot of busyness going on in their reticle.
Yeah. And
I'll see what you have to say about it once you get some trigger time on it, and maybe we can see if you have any input on whether you like it busier or not, because I know that like your LE10 has a straight duplex on it, right?
Right. Sometimes busy is confusing to some people.
I agree.
Yeah. Unless they know how to use all those mil dots and hash marks, and it's basically you're going to use the top set of crosshairs, and that's it.
Yeah. A lot of people are that
a lot of people are like that. So maybe Nikon is trying to kind of catch a little bit of both spectrums, either end, with their Monarch there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's a nice piece of glass. Speaking of simple, this thing, simple.
Let me see that.
This is their Pro Staff 7i. That is a rangefinder that is rated out to 1,200 meters. All right? And we've been out there testing it, and I can laze the berm out there at 8. without problem. And usually we got to park like a truck in front of it or something like that to be able to get it. The other thing that's really neat about that thing is it has an angular correction. So what a lot of people don't realize is it's not the actual distance the bullet travels, it's the amount of time it's over the ground. What are you doing? How close does it get? Will it go down to fractions of a yard?
I can see your nose hair.
Oh, jeez. I think it's rated at 6 power. I obviously don't have a way to test that, but it is supposed to be 100% waterproof. Obviously, that's something that
it's got a really nice display in it.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Like I said, 1,200 meters, does a pretty good job. It lays in the 800 berm. Is about as far as we get without going over to the other property. We're gonna beat this thing around for a little while, see how it does. It is like 100% rubberized. Like all the surfaces, obviously except for the glass, are rubberized. The battery port's right here.
Waterproof?
Huh?
Is it waterproof?
Yeah, it says waterproof right on it. I don't know what the, it doesn't have the depth written on what it's waterproof to. Maybe I'll annotate that. But you know, one of those, another Nikon product that just seems to be doing a you know, pretty good job so far. We're gonna, like I said, continue to beat it around. You can switch right here between yards and meters pretty easily if you want to get that. Power on right there. It has an auto shut off for saving battery life. I have no idea what the battery life is going to be like on this thing, but this is like supposedly their top of the line as of 2015. So
in my experience, those batteries will last forever.
I still have my first original Rangefinder.
Exactly. I run something similar in a Leopold. I kind of like that display a little better than the one that's in my Leopold, but I've had it for years. The only time the battery's being used is when you're actually pushing the buttons.
Yep,
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, what we should do is we should run, I think we're gonna go up to the bench rest now and see if we can't get some solid shots on some steel here, and then we'll just close out this video, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. Done? Had enough to render an opinion?
I got an opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Are we talking about the gun or the optic?
Oh, well, we'll leave the gun out of it.
Okay.
That's Bacon's fault. Okay. We cannot fault Nikon for the fact that we decided to mount it on somebody on an idiot's rifle. But, you know, because the gun itself is not fun to shoot.
No, it's not really at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the PRS.
I don't know what's going on in here. That rattle, well, I know what it is. It's the buffer spring.
Buddy, when you're used to shooting something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
let's not talk about Bacon's rifle.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, let's leave Bacon's rifle.
First of all, he's twice as big as both of us, and we piss him off, he's going to break our necks.
We can run him though.
Yeah. Well, we probably can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Nikon Optic, the Monarch 3. What do we got going on here, man?
Well, this is my initial impression. I don't mind the reticle at all.
It's actually kind of nice.
It is.
The rings, the BDC rings.
Right. I tell you what they remind me of is the BDC, like in a muzzleloader scope.
Kind of, sort of.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind them at all. They're not busy. They're easy.
And they're very fine.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like really thick. Like the lines aren't real super thick.
They're not distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bingo. Other than that, I mean, I've had this thing dialed clear up on on 12 power. It was focused in good for me. It seemed to be fine.
Yeah.
It's a clean, crisp piece of glass.
Mm-hmm.
Can I talk about some things I didn't care about?
Yeah, but before you get to something that you don't care about, the one thing that I wanted to say that I didn't really, I noticed was a little bit weird. Yeah. When you get all the way up on 12, and this is, probably across multiple product lines,
right.
Besides just Nikon, when you're getting up into those 12 powers, the image is getting kind of dim. And I think it's because the objective size on this may be a little bit small,
right,
for this power.
Right.
But you know, once again, I'm not a telescopic hunting scope expert.
One of the things I noticed right off the bat, obviously as soon as I shouldered this rifle, is the mount is really low.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem for me. I'm a big guy.
As far as the M223 mount is concerned as well, we had some trouble getting it on that rifle. Now this rifle is Duracoated on the upper receiver, so it was a little bit snug. You can see where we literally scraped Duracoat away to get the thing on there.
Right.
I don't know if it would be that tight on a regular pick rail, but to tell you the truth, I couldn't get it off to put it on another rifle.
Does it belong to Bacon now?
It's solidly on that gun. It's not moving. All right. We'll need him to get it off anyway. And he might bend the tube getting it off there. But it is a one inch tube, so it takes any other 1 inch mounts if you wanted to put any, so that's not necessarily a real big problem. The other thing that I kind of noticed is this parallax control. If you really wrench on it, you can strip it.
Yeah, I did that already.
Yeah.
I don't know if I stripped it, but I turned it.
Yeah.
And then quickly realized I don't think I should be doing it that way. And then once I pulled it out, you know, the way it normally functions, it's really smooth actually. I hope it's made out of a durable, you know, the teeth are inside there, you know, didn't get peeled off there.
Yeah, we hope it's made out of something durable.
But hey, you know, here at VSO we talk about what's good and we point out what we don't like, because
that was not intuitive for me to pull the cap out.
It was not for me.
I suppose we read the instructions that it probably would have told us that, but I just kind of pull things out of the box and run them how I feel they should be run. And
anytime you do something and the word "oops" is followed by you,
especially out here.
Yeah, oops. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah. Again, Nikon's putting out a good product here.
I agree.
Just like any other product, there's always room for improvement, and that's why we do these videos.
I would agree.
We don't hesitate to point out the good aspects of a product, and we shouldn't hesitate to point out the aspects, you know, the bad ones.
These up here, very tactile in their movements. Sometimes you get various optics and there's some squish in them.
Yeah.
Those things are, you moved it one click, it's one click.
Right.
You probably won't be able to hear it over the noise out here right now, but it's one click for one click. Another thing that I would give them a little bit of grief over is the threads on these are really, really fine.
Yeah.
And when I put this on here,
it took me like 20 minutes to get it off.
I don't know. But like, they're super fine, and I feel as though, like, through my use, I will strip those out.
Yeah.
Because they're so super fine and easily cross-threaded. I mean, is that a super huge, I mean, take care of your gear. I mean, basically is what it boils down to. Really, one of the only other misses that I can kind of point out is, for some reason, this front scope cap that came with this thing, comes with the scope caps. When it's on here, you can't.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, like this one's great. I mean, this one comes right open, right? But like this, for some reason, this thing, and let's make sure it's fully on there this time before I do it. You know, it's fully on there, and I'll hold.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
You know, so I mean, like, that could be improved. I don't know what that. I mean, and we could have just gotten a bad scope cap for all I know. But you know, that's just something to look at. Technically, I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't even run front scope caps on my stuff very often because I end up breaking them off anyway. Well, I have a Hilux Micromax B dot, and 10 minutes with it from owning the thing, the front scope cap was shattered off.
Well, I'm not sure what Filipinos know about scope caps. Because this scope cap was made in the Philippines.
Well, yeah, that could have something to do with it. So was this one. So
well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that could have something to do with it. Who knows? All right, guys, we're running out of daylight a little bit for this component in the video. We're going to be covering something that we somewhat nuanced in the beginning of the video, which was a little bit of something about this reticle that's in this thing. And what's different about this reticle is not only its setup and its picture, but it's compatible with Nikon's own proprietary software, which is called their Spot On system. And what that is basically an app for your phone. And if I come in here a little bit closer, so what we've got going on here, guys, is if we look at this Spot On system, what it allows us to do is select our optic. So we've gone ahead and selected our optic. I just went ahead and picked some compatible, relatively compatible ammunition here. I'm shooting the Freedom Munitions 55 grain stuff. The velocities are pretty close to that, and this ammo. And then I've got my 0 filled in here at 100 yards. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is fire, and it gives me this ballistics table here for the optic. If I go ahead and expand this, you can see that on max magnification, you've got all these BDC points. Keep in mind that the very top of the ladder here is 100 yards. So we can go all the way down here and see that the bottom of our duplex is 587. What's really cool about this thing, that's a 12x magnification. If I go back, I can scroll this magnification down, and you can see I've expanded my ballistics ladder all the way out to 1086, or 1068, excuse me for my dyslexia. All right, so we have steel from shootsteel.com out there at 1, 2, and 425 yards. Again, I'm shooting the Freedom Munitions 55 grain new manufactured ammo. We're just gonna start ringing some steel here. So, 100 yards, and let's go. Three easy hits. Go to a silhouette out here at 200 yards. Ooh, that one hit with authority. All right, now for the main event here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm at max magnification. I'm going to be using the bottom part of the third ballistic circle here, and we're going to see if we can't get on some steel out there. Now again, we're running out of daylight here, so bear with me if I miss a few times. Three in a row. Getting a little bit dim down there, but just for shits and giggles, let's see if there's a better ballistics complement here. Maybe it's 7x. 7x. So if we go to 7, center of the second dot. That's a little bit more doable. So guys, that is a look at the Spot On component of this reticle system, as well as this whole optical system that Nikon offers in their Monarch 3 line. This thing is available for any of their Spot On compatible optics. So go on their website, check out those particular optics that it's compatible with. This thing's pretty neat for the ability to just basically dial in whatever range you want to impact on. I think that's pretty neat. We're gonna have to go out and test this thing out when we've got a little bit more daylight and we can really dial it in out there to long range. Maybe we see if we can hit the 800 berm with a 5.56 gun. We'll see about that. That might be a little bit of a tall order. But anyway, back to the short range. But you know, all in all, you know, a good optic, a little bit higher in the price range as far as optics are concerned, but if you're talking about a solid hunting scope or something like that, or just a scope that you don't want a lot of busyness going on in there,
right.
This is a pretty good option, I would say, in my humble opinion. Now, that said, that is subject to change. This is obviously in full testing mode, guys. So this is like our initial impressions video. We used this thing once before in our Wolf Gold testing video. That's where I got the nice big scratch on the side of it here. We're out here testing this thing right now, and you know, we'll revisit it in like a year or so, and you know, come up and tell you how it did, if it's got any finish left on it, or if it like totally lost zero, or any of those sorts of things. And I'm hard on stuff, but bacon's twice my size. When you wax a rifle off of something, it really hits with authority.
Right.
So if it survives on this gun for a year, I would say that it's a quality piece. But time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. Other than that, shooting some good groups down there. Why don't we go ahead and burn through the rest of this Freedom Munitions stuff here, and ding some steel and close this thing out right.
Sounds good to me.
Guys, thanks for watching the VSO Gun Channel, where we bend the fit and scratch the finish so you guys don't have to. And Doc, go ahead and burn up that ammo and beat the shit out of that steel down there. I'm gonna not eat your brass. Faster. Totally got one right in my teeth. You know how much money I paid for my braces, dude? Not cool. Ow! 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 They're in my pants. Ow!
Hey, if you sit on my right,
I don't even want to hear it. There's no other room.
On purpose?
You took the left side of the bench.